Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to do probably the most practical part of adding a comment. We are going to link it with our blog, and then we are going to show the comments down here whenever a person visits the show page, right? And the thing that we'll take up after that, not necessarily today, is that we'll style the show page, and then it will be like a proper thing, right? Great. So let's start with that. And for that, first of all, let me tell you how this will be structured. So we'll have comments, right? And not this comment, these comments, right? On the blogs, and all the blogs inside their schema will have the comments stored, right? That's what we'll do. Inside the blog schema, the comments will be stored as a separate field. So I can close this for now. I'll open this when I need it, right? And inside the, let's go to models. Here it is. So inside the models, we currently have title, content, and image. So one more thing we'll have is the comments, right? So to represent an array, you can just do this, right? And then if you want to make an object inside of this, you can make an object and do whatever you want. So on the first look, what somebody might think of is that we'll make an object inside of this, which will be a comment schema, the complete comment schema, and we'll store everything inside of it, right? But that's I hope you understood that. So what I'm saying is you will have I know what the names in the comments were. So let's say we could have a title string and we'd have an author string. Yeah, so it was content, right? So this then we could store everything of all the comments inside of this, as this is an array. So we could have an array of these objects. And while that is a solution and it will work, it's no problem, but that is not how it's usually done, right? So how it's usually done is that we store just the IDs of the comments that are associated with this, right? So what we're giving here is content and a string, right? So we could also give, let's make this a little more practical, that if you have a blog, you definitely need to have a title, right? So what we can do in here is we can make an object, and this is just to show you the syntax, right? We could also work without this. So inside this, you could write type of string, and then you could do required, which is a field that Mongo gives us, Mongoose and Mongo give us. So now the type of the title will be a string, and the required will be true, meaning there can be no blog without a title, right? So I think similar things make sense for the content too, right? So let me just do a line nice spacing, and then I'll do type string and required true. And I personally like to have this kind of format in everything. So even if the image is not actually required, we can work without the image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do type string, and I'll do required false. Even though required false is the setting that's taken by default, but still I'll give it because I like to have this kind of a structure to my schema, right? So now the next thing that I'll do is I will do comments, right? So this will have the IDs of all the comments that have been added to this particular blog, right? So what we can do is the type will be mongoose.schema.types.object_id, right? So this is basically the long string of type that we should have in a for if we are. So what this will do is the type will be object ID. So inside the comments we'll be storing object IDs, right? And object ID is basically the ID of the particular comment. And I'll do required false, because we can choose to not have comments in this too, right? And of course, this will be an array. Great. So now we have this comments array, which will show the IDs of all the comments linked to this blog. Great. The next thing we can do is we can go into our comments routes. And when we are creating the comment, the next thing we can do is, before like redirecting there, what we can do is we can do blog dot find by ID. We can pass in rect dot params dot ID, right? And then we can do error found blog. Now you might be noticing that we are moving into callbacks, like loads and loads of callbacks. So this is actually known as callback hell, and this was something that was a big problem until some time ago. But then when ES6 came out, this became really easy, and the syntax we are following is not the ES6 syntax yet. And there are ways of doing this in the same indentation level too, but we'll see them later when we move into even more callbacks, because these are like only two, we can handle them yet right now. So first off, I'll duplicate this line, and this needs to be above this, because if there's an error in creating the comment, we don't want to go into the blog.find by ID, right? So inside this, I'll also do the same thing. If error, console.log error. And then the next thing that I'll do is, before redirecting, I'll say found blog dot comments dot push, and this is called created comment, right? So I'll do created comment. So this way, this created comment will be passed into the comments array of the found blog, which we have got through the rect.params.id. And just doing this does not actually do your task. What you need to do is you need to do found blog.save. And I would like to introduce a new in a very basic way a new concept, which is await, right? And I'll not tell you anything about it right now except just a small thing. And one thing, that add async here, right? We'll discuss async await in details later, but for now you can just see that whichever function has await needs to have the keyword async before it, right? And what this will basically do is that you can imagine that this has to go to some database, right? So found blog.save, what basically does is it saves the changes that we have made in this particular thing. So this will take a little time, and we do not want to redirect to /blogs until we have completed this step. So what await does is it stops the execution of further lines until this line is completely executed, right? So just copy this syntax. We'll use this syntax a lot later, and I'll explain it how it actually works then, right? Great. So now when we have done this, when we add a comment, it should actually get added to the particular blog which we have added it to, right? Let's refresh. I'll go to home, let's say, and I'll go to this. I was already on this. Let's choose testing again here, right? And then I'll go to /comments/new. And now let's add a comment and let's see how that works. John Doe loved the site. Great work. Add comment. So now it redirects to this page and it does not show up because we have not printed them in the show page yet. But what we can do is we can go into Mongo. We can do db dot blogs, the show collections. Let's do show collections. So now I will do db dot blogs dot find. So we have a lot of rubbish in here. I mean, not rubbish, but not readable thing. So let's see what happens. So this is the blog that we are talking about, right? The title is testing again. So you can see this has a comments array, which has something with an object ID. So this way we have stored the comment successfully in this particular blog, right? And now we can print that out whenever we want. Great. And you will see the other, these two do not have the comments array yet because they have no comments. So this is kind of the use of a non-relational database, right? Because we have this in one, we don't have this in the other, and it's totally up to us. So now it has been added. So now everything is done from the comments part, from the comment side of the code. Now all we need to change is from the blog side, right? So let's move into the show.ejs for the blogs. So it's the views. Where are the views? Here they are. Blogs, show.ejs. So after the blog.content, I'll put an h3 saying comments. I'll put an hr. And first off, let's just refresh. It shows up. Great. And I should like put another hr. I'm just doing this to like make it look just a little better. Of course, we are going to style this a lot, and then this will look much better than what it's looking like right now. But anyway, for now, we can just do this. And after that, I want to print everything inside the comments array, right? So let's do that. And so first of all, we'll have to check that if the comment even exists, right? If the comments even exist. So for that, we'll have to do if. So we're passing it as a blog, right? So I'll do if blog dot and comments. So this will be true if only if the comments actually exist, right? And I'll move everything under this. Then I'll open the brackets after this, and I'll close the if bracket here. So now everything in between this is inside of this if bracket. All right, so now we can start putting things. So now we'll do blog dot comments. So this needs to be inside EJS. Now I'm going to do blog dot comments dot for each, and then I'll get a function in between which will be comment, and I'll remove these two things. I'll add them at the end, and right. So I'll add another EJS. I'll do this. Great and excellent. So now what I need to do is I'll make a UL outside. And in this UL, I'll end it after this for each, and the UL closes here. And now I'll do li comment, and this will of course be inside EJS brackets, and this will be equal to, and I'll put. So let's see if this works. I refresh. So there's an error in here. So unexpected token in show.ejs. All right. So so the error was actually quite silly that we did not need to have these here. I messed that up a little. So now let's go and refresh. And it needs to be after this. And now you see I have two things present here. So these are the two IDs of the comments. I actually added a new comment while I was debugging the error. So I have two comments here now, right? And the reason that the ID is showing up is that we have just printed comment here. So of course we do not want to do that. So what we'll need to do for this is we'll actually need to change our blog routes a little bit, right? So when we are doing blogs.find.id this, we cannot just do this now. So now we'll have to use some ES6 syntax. So what you can write there is dot populate comments. I'll explain the syntax in just a moment. And in here, I will paste this function. All right. So this is the bracket, and so then when we save this and we refresh, we see that nothing shows up here. So why is that? First of all, let me tell you what this populate does, right? So this will do is this will find the blog by ID, great. Then it will convert the comments, this particular thing, to a proper array where all the details of the comments are stored, right? And then what dot exec does is basically the new way of writing things, is that after the populate happens, this thing will be done, right? So this is kind of a callback. So you can just take the syntax for now. But the reason why we refresh this and this does not actually show up is that we need to edit the blog schema, right? So inside this, we also need to give a ref, right? So what ref basically is the name of the model which this basic or ID will be found in, right? So we need to tell it that this ID needs to be found in the comment. So now if we refresh, we are getting two arrays printed out here. Great. So instead of just printing them out here, what we need to do is inside this, I'll close this now. So inside the show.ejs, I'll do an li, which will be comment.author. And then inside the li, I'll make another ul. Which will have single li that will be comment.content. Now if I refresh, I have something like this. And just to make this a little bit better, I'll do strong. And this becomes strong. So now, even though this is really crudely styled, we have the comments present here, and we can try adding a new comment. So we'll add the button in this video, /comment/new. I'll do test author, testing the add comment. I see I get that here too. Excellent. So now my comments functionality is added, and the last thing I can do in this page is after my if statement has been closed, I can add a button or I can add an a tag which has class of btn success, and which says add a comment, and it takes you to /blogs/ and we need to add the, so this is the EGS, right? So we need to add blog._id, then we need to add /comments/new. So now if I refresh, I get a button, and when I click on that, it takes me to add a comment. Excellent. And if I go to home, I go to some other post, I do add a comment, author, Rondo, loved the site, add comment, added. Oh, so this is showing up to be comment.content. I didn't actually notice that. Let's see why that's happening. So models comment.js. So content should actually work. So the reason that's happening is we've not put this inside the EJS tags. Refresh. Loved the site. Excellent. So now we can go to explore, testing again, read more. We get the comments. Great. So now we've added the comments here, and next thing we'll do is the styling of the page, and then we'll do the updating and the deleting for the blogs and the comments together, right? Great. So that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.